Social media giant Meta has agreed to pay up to $18 billion to 47 states, 3 territories, and the District of Columbia as part of what is a massive lawsuit settlement that alleged its technology harms children's mental health. Meta has also agreed to make some changes to its apps as part of this settlement, including proposals like a 2-hour daily time limit for those under 18 years old, the ability to change the way a user's feed comes through, and prohibiting extreme makeup filters. Now, the settlement is yet to be approved by a court, but it does mean that Mark Zuckerberg will not be testifying, certainly not this time. But let's bring in Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. He is running for re-election in his state. Senator Markey, thanks for joining State of Play. You've been critical of Meta in the past. Just want to get your thoughts on today's settlement and what it means for consumers, for the rest of us.
Well, it's a historic settlement. The attorneys general across the nation used my law, the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, which is the Constitution nationally for the protection of children against invasion by social media companies, and used state laws in order to put the pressure on Meta to force them to the table to reach this settlement. So it's a big day. I've worked for many years towards this day. My legislation is central to the case. But ultimately, we're still going to have to do more in order to ensure that we give all the protections for kids and, by the way, for adults in our nation because of the predatory nature that is at the heart of social media companies all across our nation.
So we're not going to hear from Mark Zuckerberg on this. Are there specific questions that you still think he needs to answer?
Without question, Mark Zuckerberg has known right from the beginning that kids have been vulnerable. For example, he knew that 13-year-old girls with bulimia, if they go online, they're going to be targeted then by companies, all going to be sending information to that 13-year-old girl, which would ultimately exacerbate the underlying medical condition that girl had. Mark Zuckerberg has always known that. Why do I know that? I told him that in 2008 in his office in Palo Alto. I know he knew that. So that's why he has to be held accountable. And it's not just money. He needs to be in public as well, under cross-examination, answering to this incredible challenge for the mental health of the children and teenagers in our country. 1 in 9 teenage girls attempted suicide just 2 years ago. 1 in 5 LGBTQ youth, and the Surgeon General points the accusing finger at social media.
Senator Markey, let me ask you, because topics of technology and AI have come up in the course of your campaign. You're running against the Congressman Seth Moulton. He's focused some of his criticism on comments you recently made about AI. Here's part of what he said.
He does not understand the difference between Siri and Claude. He doesn't understand the difference between different apps on his phone or his iPad.
That's part of my conversation with the congressman here only a matter of days ago. Moulton says that you're too old and lack of familiarity with AI to lead the effort to legislate it. Why is he wrong?
Well, he's wrong because Mark Zuckerberg, right now, today, just agreed to pay $17 billion in a settlement because of my law. I am also the leader on AI and civil rights legislation. Every civil rights group has endorsed my AI civil rights law, AI in workers, AI in the environment. All of these are my laws. Congressman Moulton has no laws that he has introduced to fight for these issues. And matter of fact, he said just last week on your show, there was no AI in 2020, which is almost unbelievable. There was no AI in 2020? No, it was already there. It already needed to have regulation. It's Congressman Moulton who does not know what he's talking about, except to the extent to which he has benefited to the tune of millions of dollars, being given a sweetheart deal to invest in web AI. That he understands, his own self-enrichment.
So let me get to the root of what his campaign is focused on in part, which is this idea of generational change. You're 80. It means you would be 86 years old at the end of another Senate term now. You've represented Massachusetts and Washington since the 1970s. Why shouldn't it be another Democrat in Massachusetts' turn?
Well, if you pass the torch to Congressman Moulton, our state would get burned. Congressman Moulton does not support Medicare for all. I do. Congressman Moulton calls taxing millionaires and billionaires class warfare. No, we have to tax millionaires and billionaires in order to make sure we have the funding for education and health care. Congressman Moulton threw trans kids under the bus politically after the 2024 election. My bill is the Trans Bill of Rights. And big difference. He voted 8 months ago for the $1 trillion defense budget that Trump and Hegseth are using for this war in Iran, already use it in Venezuela, promising to use it in Greenland and in Cuba and other places around the planet. That's the big difference.
If there was a candidate who was,
I'm right and he's wrong, and the people of Massachusetts can see that.
But as it relates to generational change, if there was a candidate that you were more comfortable with who were younger, would you support passing the torch right now? Do you understand that criticism?
Well, that person is not Seth Moulton. I'm running against Seth Moulton, and Seth Moulton is on the ballot next week. And for every voter in Massachusetts, I think it's very clear I am the progressive candidate. That's why Bernie Sanders, that's why Elizabeth Warren, that's why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed me in this race. This is going to be my last term, and next time there'll be a wide open race. But even in that race, Seth Moulton will not be the person who should be the next senator from the state of Massachusetts.
Senator, let me ask you about the escalating trade war with Canada right now. Canada was Massachusetts' second biggest trading partner last year. I think it's to the tune of, $3 billion? Yeah, $3 billion in business between the two. How are you as a senator helping protect the relationship between your constituents and Canada?
Yeah, that's a great question. Every kid that grows up in Massachusetts in the fourth grade in their geography book has a chapter entitled Our Friends, the Canadians. They are our trading partners. They are our friends. And what Donald Trump is doing is jeopardizing the relationship which we have. And so many of my small businesses have relationships. So many of them are going to be jeopardized on top of their tariffs from the rest of the world, which are imposed on my companies, in addition to the skyrocketing energy costs and healthcare costs for my small businesses. So we have to do everything we can in the next 9 weeks to defeat the Republicans in the House and Senate. So the gavels get put back over into the hands of the Democrats. We can subpoena all of the documents which we need to get to the heart of this all-you-can-eat corruption buffet, which is the Trump trade policy. It has no basis in reality, what he is doing. It's all tied to a corrupt agenda, which is at the heart of everything that Donald Trump does.
And very quickly, last question. If the Democrats don't just take back the House, but take back the Senate as well, would you support Chuck Schumer as the majority leader, leading your party in the Senate?
Well, everything has to be on the table. Leadership.
Who should it be if
the
not Chuck
agenda,
Schumer?
and it must be a progressive agenda. First, we have to win the majority. First, we must win the majority. That's the next 8 to 9 weeks. That's what I'm going to focus on. But then everything's on the table. Leadership, agenda, everything must be there so that we, in fact, answer the challenge which the American people right now want us to answer.
Senator Ed Markey, we always appreciate your time and your perspective. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Peter.